want to start tonight with a trend that we have noticed that might be worth knowing about, and it has to do with the dollar. For nearly 80 years since the end of the Second World War, the US dollar has effectively been the currency of the world. For our entire lifetimes, there was virtually no place on the entire globe you could go that would turn down a 20. Andrew Jackson's face beside the famous seal of the US Treasury was probably America's best-known export. From Dar es Salaam to Sri Lanka to the smallest gold mining outpost in the Amazon basin, every shopkeeper on earth recognized a $20 bill. The dollar was universal, and not just universal in commerce, though the majority of international transactions were conducted in dollars, but universally held as a long-term store of value globally. The world's central banks stockpiled US dollars, far more than any other currency. Now, most Americans may not have known that, or they did, but it doesn't matter whether they knew it. It was very good for everyone who lives here. Because there were so many US dollars in circulation outside of the country, the cost of borrowing money inside the country remained artificially low. And that's one of the reasons that in this country, America, middle-class people could buy their own homes. The US government, meanwhile, was able to run up astronomical debts without many obvious consequences. Now, from time to time, the Congress would debate something called the debt ceiling, but it was abstract. For most people, the entire topic didn't seem very relevant to their lives because for most of that time, it really wasn't. America printed the US dollar, we controlled the global reserve currency, and that meant that for us, money was cheap. We had privileges that nobody else in the world had. It's been very nice, but what would happen if it ended? You don't even really want to think about that because the consequences would be too ugly, really ugly. But we started to worry about it about a year ago, really the day the Russian military rolled over the Ukrainian border. Now, by itself, that was a destabilizing event. War always is destabilizing and always challenges the existing order. But it was the West's reaction to the Russian invasion that seemed ominous. Policymakers in the US went insane. Joe Biden, helped by his Republican allies in the Senate, appeared to be determined not simply to topple the Russian government in some kind of regime change war, but to blow up the post-war economic order that had served the US so generously for so long. So we thought at the time that the real threat to our future wasn't just the billions we were sending to Zelensky. That was reckless, but probably not going to end America. The real threat was the unprecedented economic sanctions that Joe Biden was allowed to, in fact, encouraged to impose. Those sanctions, you'll recall, were supposed to hurt Russia. But even in March of last year, it seemed obvious they were going to hurt the United States much more than they hurt Russia.
And finally, new rule: when a dentist has 60 grand to drop on a safari, that's when we know there's too much sugar in the soda.
It was the year before the Black Monday crash. Wall Street darling Larry Fink suffered a $100 million trading loss.
I was so angry at myself. I was just mortified at myself.
Humiliated, Fink now is forced to leave the company. But upon his failure, he will build the mightiest company in the world, BlackRock.
Another too big to fail asset manager which handles over $7 trillion in direct management and another $20 trillion through their proprietary software.
I mean, Larry Fink, with those numbers, he can say whatever he wants. BlackRock was fantastic.
1976. I was the first Freddie Mac bond trader, and so the mortgage market was just in its infancy. And then in 1982, we had the ability to put a PC on our trading desk. Before that, you had no ability to put a computer on a trading desk. And it was very clear to me that if we could have computing power on the trading desk, we were going to have the ability to dissect cash flows of mortgages. And we were the most profitable component of First Boston in 83 and 84 and 85.
By 1983, the American economy had rebounded from a decade-long recession.
The highest order of business before the nation is to restore our economic prosperity.
After taking over the presidency, Reagan worked to boost the economy. He starts cutting taxes and deregulating Wall Street, creating a perfect environment for financial innovations. One of such is the mortgage-backed securities. BlackRock helped GE gradually unload the assets and recover their value with minimal loss. If you're confused about what he did and how he did it, you're not alone. It's called financial engineering. It's about packaging, restructuring existing securities into new ones. While some of these securities are indeed valuable, they're only available to big players in finance. But in the early 1990s, the financial engineering becomes Larry Fink's #1 competitive edge.
We do have a moral crisis in America, but it doesn't come from saggy pants or gay wedding cakes or Hillary's emails. It comes from worshiping obscene wealth, so much that posing next to the carcass of an endangered species is a way of saying, hey, look at me, I'm a soulless prick, just like the super rich. This wasn't even about the lion. Next year it'll be buying a bottle of wine for 10 grand or crashing a sports car into a Chuck E. Cheese.
As you can tell from what you saw on Tucker Carlson, Bill Maher, and BlackRock, the United States dollar is dead. I mean, it is 32 trillion that we owe. It took England, 60 years to pay off 40 billion? The average American owed $15,000 in credit card. That's got to go. 38,000 in student loans. Hello. I actually went to school in the United States 30 years ago. I worked 40 hours a week and went to school at night. It still can be done. Get an associate degree and then transfer to a state college. But the parents are sacrificing their retirement to send their kids to college. Look, nobody sacrificed anything for me to go to college. It can be done. Okay, 3 ways you can go to college: scholarship, grant, or go for an associate degree and work a job and then transfer to a state school in that area. Car payment, $32,000 for a car. Today, there is no more time for car payment. Inflation is bad. The dollar is dead. You saw what Tucker Carlson said. You saw what Bill Maher said. And you saw what BlackRock, the largest asset corporation in the world, is doing. They're high on Bitcoin. This is why I'm promoting Bitcoin and stocks. Dave Ramsey used to say, pay off your debt first. That doesn't work. Pay debt and invest. 3 things to do, America. Invest your money, save your money, and go ahead and pay down debt. Here are some ways to invest: online business, Amazon, Shopee, YouTube, Airbnb. The average person is making $3,000 per month with an online business. Look into TikTok, look into Facebook, look into Instagram. You can do an online store on the internet making $1,000 per week, $3,000 average per month. I'm telling you, people are working 2 hours a day doing that. Look into Bitcoin, BlackRock. I'm going to get an ETF. We don't know more than BlackRock. You know, disclaimer here, I was an attorney for GE as a security attorney back in the days, but I am telling you, BlackRock is who we all in the security field look up to. BlackRock barely make mistake. BlackRock is going in on Bitcoin. Why shouldn't you? Look at XRP as well. The lawsuit with the SEC is now completed. Of course, SEC said they're going to appeal, which is wrong, but XRP would have been a lot higher had it not been the litigation. XRP is at 0.66. It can go as high as 350. Some are predicting 500, but XRP has a lot of cap rates. And Ethereum, I like Ethereum as well. I just like the 3 crypto: Bitcoin, XRP, and Ethereum. Look at the stock market. You know, Americans have no money to invest in the top corporations in America because they're so in debt. Do both at the same time. Invest in the stock market while you pay off your debt. Here are the stocks you should look at based upon cap rate. They're either trillions in cap rate or they're billions. Apple, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. Bank must tie into it. $50, that's all you need to put into Bitcoin. Start with $50. And I'm telling you, do not pay off all your debt. It's time for you to tell your friends we're back. We're on YouTube. Go ahead and hit that free like and that free subscribe button. I'm Tisha Powell. We'll be back another time.